Peace, 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 fam. Welcome to Natural Holistic Vibes Podcast. It's your host, your spiritual BFF, Ivy. Thank you guys for dropping in this week with me. Whew. That's all I'm gonna start off. Whew. welcome. Y'all get in, get situated. I'm not gonna keep you guys long. Um, yeah, we're gonna just get into this current energy when see what's going on, kind of tap in, and then see what we need to be doing around this time. So we're all leveling up, expanding, growing, all that beautiful energy, right? All right, so yeah, let's get into it. So I know this my last episode, right? We were discussing masculine energy, divine masculine. you know, the rest of this month is supposed to kind of go over what that looks like. But I'm picking up that that message is actually going to be a little bit deeper than I thought. So I'm still getting information on it, which is why I haven't been posting lately. Also, with this energy that's this current cosmic energy, everything aligning and balancing and harmonizing, all that good stuff, bringing out shadows, giving us some really good work to do around this time. I've been in the mode that I'm supposed to be in, and that's the work mode. And the work mode is, following your intuition, doing what you see, hear, feel, from your guides to be doing at that moment. And so right now I'm being guided to rest more. Sun Capricorn, y'all know we got this. We got task issues. Don't give us no bunch of tasks, y'all. Like for real, we will knock them out and then try to get it done in a very timely manner. So we will overdo. Sometimes we'll overgo, right? We don't know how to just or one of the lessons. Ooh, that little sprinkle feel good, y'all. One of our lessons, Sun Caps, is to learn how and when we need to be, being better time managers. That's the word I'm looking for. So being better time managers. So, but anywho, um, I was guided to look up the definition of what masculine meant. Um, which is interesting because when the information came to me, I already had my concept or my perception of what masculine energy meant and my perception of what divine masculine energy meant to me. And so and with the word masculinity, interesting. Little quick homework for y'all. I encourage you to actually go and research these words, where the words originated from, how long we've been utilizing these words. And so this actually kind of speaks to, you know, the message right now, being mindful with your words. And that's kind of been a theme since we've been into the Gemini season, right? Gemini being an air sign ruled by Mercury, Mercury being the sign of communication. And so we're talking about dealing with the higher mind when we're talking about dealing with the Gemini energy. So yeah, right now I'm sure if you guys aren't feeling it, for those who are, you probably have a lot of communication going on. Especially internal. You know, picking up some more integrative data that you can utilize for the next season and the rest of the cycles that you're going to be here. So, yeah, now's a good time to really tune in and listen to yourself, right? Um, I'll put this little PSA out before I continue with the message because I don't want this to be the theme of the message. And it's really at this point, we're all old enough, y'all, where nobody should have to tell us different things that we need to do in the form of discipline, right? So at some point, we gotta start putting on our, big girl panties and our big guy drawers and start fucking doing what we need to do and stop being so childish, right? And so, one of the things to be mindful of, one of the negative aspects of the Gemini energy is gossiping. What they consider two-faced, talking behind people's back. So make sure you guys are not getting caught up in any conversations, like even in your head, talking about somebody or talking about that somebody with someone else. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're not getting caught up in those things. Make sure you're paying attention to the internal conversations you're having and what your guides and what your higher self, your God is telling you that you need to be doing around this time, right? We're at the end of the physical half of our cycles. So we've done a lot of physical work. We've done, planted a lot of seeds. Um, excuse me. So now we're in that space where, okay, I don't know if for those who know anything about gardening, correct me if I'm wrong, boo, but I'm just gonna go by the images I'm picking up, the images I see in my mind to describe what I'm saying. But it's kind of like when you're a gardener or a farmer and you plant your seeds. I mean, first you till your ground, right? Or I guess, and I may be using the wrong verbiage, y'all, so don't mind me. But you dig you fondle with the dirt. Shit, I think it's called tilling the dirt. And then after that, you place your seeds. You get your soil ready for your seeds to be placed. You plant your seeds. And then when you plant your seeds, after you plant your seeds, the only work at that part is to water occasionally, right? To pick off any weeds that may be growing um, in that space. Pretty much just tidying up, just straightening up, right? Cleaning up. But it's not like you're working, but you're not doing a lot of work. So, and this is before the harvest, right? So, we're in that space. We're in that space where our seeds, the seeds that we planted, are they're sprouting. Some have already sprouted, right? Some are starting to sprout, depending on the longevity of the seeds, right? And now we're just tending to the garden. There's not a lot of um, work to be done. It's more tending. So now this is that time where we can rest, do more resting, and still be able to care um, for our harvest, for our crops. So that's where we are. So just take right now. I'm just gonna be real. I know a lot of people like to travel around this time. If you feeling guided and prompted to do so, please do so. Because you never know why your team, why your higher self, why you're making that move to that location for whatever reason. So make sure you listen to it to yourself. But y'all, this is the time and the space for us to not be doing too much. And it's weird because we want to all be doing a lot. We all want to be moving and shaking and getting stuff done and, waiting on certain things. And we're being reminded right now to be patient, to be patient. There's a lot of, I'll call it debris. That's the first word came to my mind. There's a lot of debris that's being removed from our DNA, a lot of junk, a lot of crap that's being removed from the DNA through through the space of integrating new information. Right, I don't want to get if y'all it don't mind me. I'm trying to be mindful with my words because when I'm not on here, my regular audience understands, the verbiage that I'm using. So I just want to make sure I'm not saying anything to confuse you guys, right? So, but yeah, so now we're being reminded to kind of chill, move a little, pace ourselves, not so much as move slow, but move at a pace, right? When you feel the need to go check on your garden, go check on your garden. When you feel the need to rest, go lay down and rest. And I'll tell you, from somebody who used to fight they sleep, like for real, I was kind of anti-nap, y'all. Don't laugh at me, for real. Like, I'm dead ass serious. When I was in my 20s, even up to my 30s, I would fight my naps. Like, seriously. And what I mean by fight my naps, it's like I'm sleepy, but I will busy myself through it so that I can push through that little sleep phase. But now, when I feel the need to sleep, I take my ass in the room and go lay down. And when I get up, you know, first thing you want to check your energy, see what's going on, see what information you're pulling back from the realms, right? And then pay attention to what's surfacing, what was being integrated, all that good stuff. So yeah, I don't fight my naps, y'all, anymore. I give in to them, okay? But anywho, so yeah, do make sure that you do get out and get some of this sunshine daily. Um, kind of like I don't want to use the word pill, but kind of like your daily health medicine, right? Like, let's say you take this herb when you get up, go stand out, take your 30 minutes of sunshine. Kind of like that. So, yeah, make sure you're getting some of this good sunshine. Um, we're not going to get too much into what's real and what's fake. That literally is saved for a much deeper conversation. I feel like knowing thyself is more important than trying to know or comprehend what's outside of yourself. You need to understand what's internal first. That helps you understand what's outside of yourself. But anyway, so yeah, so just making sure that you're getting that rest, because it's gonna be needed for the upcoming seasons. I know we all can feel it. This that we're calling time is beyond non-existent, y'all. Cause I swear, the fuck, we already halfway through the year. Let's start there, okay? We already halfway through the year, and I swear on a daily basis. And I'm an early riser, but from the moment that I'm up, it seems like time is just whizzing by, right? So that has to do with our rate of speed increasing. And as we expand and evolve, so does our rate of speed in which we vibrate, in which we're operating in. So that's what's going on with that, in terms of how we're feeling it, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, making sure we get plenty of rest. So I know I've kind of rambled a little bit. That's pretty much my PSA for the beginning of this episode. You know what I'm saying? We tuned into this Gemini energy, so let's just make sure that we're doing our highest work. You know, changing our communication, changing our words, making sure we're saying things that are more in alignment and magnetizing to us than repelling, right? So just, kind of make sure you're paying attention to that. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you're being pushed to rest, just fall into it, right? Trust me, when things speed up and when it's time for you to hit the fucking ground with your feet already moving, you're gonna everybody that is had to do this. You're gonna reflect back on these moments of rest. Trust me, you're gonna reflect back on them. So, but but that's neither here nor there. Um, for today's little message, we're gonna just talk about we're gonna talk about how we're utilizing masculine energy. And so earlier in the episode, I did say I encourage you guys to go look up the definitions of masculinity, and feminine and femininity, and see so that you can kind of understand, you know, more of the direction of these messages as we deal with masculine and feminine energy, right? So in this reality, in this physical, we are we have been told that everything is broken down into two energies, right? Ultimately, everything is expressing from two energies, feminine energy and a masculine energy. And so everything from words to numbers, days of the week, colors, um, body parts, you know, certain forms of expression. These are the things that we break down into what we're calling feminine and masculine energy, right? Um, One of the things that was brought to my attention the other day, it's like I was getting out the tub. I know about y'all, but water be letting me know, for real, for real. I tap to that water and stuff just comes. And so I'm in the water, and after I get all these crazy little messages. So I come in the room, fix my little bowl. I smoke, okay. Fix my little bowl, because I'm like, okay, let me gather this together because it's pretty cool. And so one of the things that pondered me, you guys, like when we came into, like, well, when I started to expand, was I kept hearing we're coming out of the masculine age and we're going into the feminine age. And it perplexed me because at the time I didn't understand nowhere near where I comprehend the information now, right? But at the time I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And so ask and you shall receive, I promise. And so as over time, what I just was shown was basically how the energy has been expressing in balance and out of balance, right? And so let's go with the numbers, for example, and we'll just start with these first two. So the number one being a masculine number. So all of your odd numbers are going to be masculine, and all of your even numbers are going to be feminine, right? And so what I started um, aligning once I got into numbers, I started aligning all the gnosis that was coming in comparison to what was going on at the current time. And so, um, like I said, one of the things that I wanted to understand was, okay, we're going into this feminine age. And what does it mean for me? What does it mean for everybody? Like, what does that look like, right? And so one of the things that I started paying attention to was, I said, well, everything in the 1900s, and I don't know, y'all don't quote me, okay? I don't, I'll be honest, I don't know how long all these ages are supposedly run, like for real. Uh, but when I break down the numerical codes, that's kind of what I'm going by, okay? And so when I started looking back, I said, well, shit, everything in the 19, well, not even just the 1900s, everything that started in the cycle of ones was just very hard on. It was war. It wasn't a time for rest. It wasn't a time for really tapping into your creativity and owning it, you know. Um, and so that kind of let me see, okay, so now where are we now? Well, as we start seeing things unravel and this fucking system is unraveling, okay, to those who ain't caught up. Get caught up, boo. This shit is done data. And so as I started paying attention to everything unravel, then I started to understand more of what the feminine aspect was bringing. And so with the feminine aspect, with this too, with us being in the 2000s, we're being, everything is going to be about balance and harmony, working the poles. Like seriously, working the poles and really comprehending to the depths of our beings, like what that means and how to express that. And so then I had to pull it back to my life, my story. And I started going back over, even in my childhood. I was born in 1979. And so my parents were teenagers. And I mean, when I say teenagers, one parent was 19, one parent was 18 when they had me. And so fast forward to today, um, and I think that was the story for a lot of people in our generations, y'all. Um, we had very young parents, but so I don't know about y'all, but I got to see the mixed match of, or the feminine and masculine energy be out of balance, and then continue to express out of balance, right? And just throughout my family. And again, for anybody who grew up in my generation, I'm almost sure, unless there's a handful of people, y'all, that ain't had an upbringing that we had, for real, for real. But for those of us who we share a similar story, this one's for you, babe. And so one of the things I got to paying attention to, and this is literally, I want to put this disclaimer out, um, for any of my family that may be listening, or anybody else's family that may be listening, to not be offended. I should put a trigger warning on my entire fucking podcast, because um, if you're not triggered, you're not healing. You're not doing the work. You're being entertained. And I'm not to entertain. This is to trigger so that we can get to the healing, so we can really move a leap beyond the stagnation that we've been in for so long. It's time for us to make some leaps and not these little baby steps, right? We are confident enough. We are prepared enough. So, yeah. So as I started kind of unraveling, going paying attention to my story, and I started recognizing how out of balance that energy had been expressing just in my family, right? And what I mean by that is, if you come up in a single parent home, then you come up out of balance. If you come up in a single parent home, you come up out of balance. A lot of us tend to like to go to, my grandparents raised me. That's cool, but your grandparents didn't raise you. Your parents or some younger guardian raised you. If you had elder grandparents, now mind you, you couldn't get away with a lot of shit, but they didn't raise you the way they raised their children. So, um, I don't like to go with the narrative that my grandparents raised me. I live with my grandparents. They helped guide me in my journey, like real shit. They showed me, the feminine and masculine being expressed, in balance and out of balance. So either way, both ways, I'm extremely grateful, because that's allowed me to be where I'm at now. Right? And it has allowed me to be able to sit here in front of you and have this discussion with you, and be very open-hearted and open-minded about it. Okay. And so one of the things that I started noticing was how things were starting to unravel. And with this unraveling, there have been systems that are coming down, and I'm like, well, that makes sense because we've been overdoing it in that space. And so I feel like any space in this system where we've been overly expressing masculine energy, those systems gotta go. They have to be harmonized out through feminine energy. And so whatever that look like, right? It may be a complete destruction of what that system is. It may be a destruction down to a certain level and then rebuild from there. We don't know what it looks like, but we just got to play our part. You know what I'm saying? And just go with the flow, trust the process. Because if you try to go outside of it, y'all, if you try to maneuver or move in opposing, that's what I call repelling. And so you're just gonna make shit harder for you, like for real. Just gonna make the shit harder for you. So don't do that. Just go with the flow. It's much easier. Yes, it may be uncomfortable, but you'll know that it's you know it's the right thing because it's just what's in alignment. And so as we continue to go throughout these years, y'all, we're gonna see that feminine energy really, really start to rise, and that masculine energy starts to harmonize out, right? And so um, right now we can kind of see how the masculine energy has started to tilt heavy to the left. And so let me stick a pin right there. So from time to time, I may utilize these words just for the expression of gaining perspective of what I'm saying, right? So when we're talking about masculine and feminine energy, when it comes to the body, the right side of the body is masculine, the left side of the body is feminine. Masculine energy is known as positive energy, is our positive pole. The feminine is known as our negative pole. And not negative as in low vibing, negative as in just opposing, right? And so, um, shit, like something bit me. Anyway, and so what's been happening, or what I've observed, is um, even in my time coming up, before that, all the way up until right now, you still see it expressed. The feminine energy has been leaning too heavy to the right, and with that, how that's been showing up in the form of expression is, um, for example, this whole women's movement, right? Where women wanted equal rights, women wanted to vote, women wanted to participate, and all of the things that men were participating in. And so, even when I look at that entire movement was out of balance, even still, because it wasn't about, well, I'm a woman, I'm stronger or as strong as you, so now I'm competing. That's the word I'm looking for. It was never about competition. It was about the woman and that energy rising up so that it is being expressed because it was being suppressed in everyone. Men and women both have feminine and masculine energy, right? And so I guess I should start there, but if you know, you know. But men and women, we both have masculine and feminine energy. And depending on our star system, depending on our makeup, right, is going to determine how the energy is expressed outwardly. And so that's what we're right now, what we're seeing, especially with couples. Oh my gosh, couples arguing and going back and forth. And it's crazy because this really does atone and speak to how out of balance our natures are. And so, as we're trying to find that balance, part of it is rest. That's part of the feminine energy. Okay. And so part of that feminine energy is nurturing and resting and caring and compassion. And, you know what I'm saying? Taking care of in that space. And the masculine energy takes care of things, and that's more like on the spiritual side. And then the masculine energy takes care of things on the physical side, making sure that this coming up with a plan, making sure that every piece know its role, making sure every role does its part. It's more orderly. So it's easy for us to get caught up in any side of it, being too feminine, being too masculine, and we're already starting to see that expression, um, more so with the younger children, starting to express that energy more out of balance. And so, what I mean by that is, this is why it's important to know what we're taking in our bodies, because the things that we're taking in to our bodies are affecting our bodies. They're affecting our DNA, they're affecting our nature. And so, I'm not the first person to say this. This ain't even my research. But over the years, I have ran across different medical people. Okay, I'm not a medical doctor, so boom, bam. Um, but I ran across a lot of medical information, rather, that spoke to our foods, specifically our foods being, poisoned with chemicals that affect the testosterone. Okay, yeah, don't mind me moving. So again, I'm moving, so I'm trying to find my words. And so now what you're seeing is a lot of what people are calling, hypermasculinity, or, you know, emotional boys, and just crybaby boy, whatever fucking word you want to use, right? Or term you want to use. But really what we're looking at is we're looking at that feminine energy, being expressed out of balance, right? As these men access their feminine energy, they're accessing it through coding that has been tainted. And so when they go to express, it comes out of balance. So if any men, if you have noticed your emotional sensories kicked up, you come off more emotional than you were before, or anything like that, it's okay. Please do not beat yourself up, especially if you're in our generation, Gen X, millennials, Xennials. Especially y'all, please don't beat yourself up, because first of all, this shit we didn't even know, number one. And number two, we're here to talk about it so we can make the changes and adjustments. And so that's one of the things we have to be mindful of, because we're seeing mislabeling things, calling something one thing that it's not. It doesn't allow people to truly get that assistance and that help that they really need in order to live a more productive life, a healthier life, if we giving people the wrong fucking diagnosis, right? For the sake of trying to make money or whatever sick, sinister, fucked up ass reason these companies are doing this shit. Anywho, I digress. Pull it back. So we're gonna have to make sure that we're more tuned in so that we can pay attention to when we're out of balance. And so for men, um, expression expressing emotionally will be one of those keys for you, right? Anytime you go to express yourself and it's coming off super emotional, then that's when you know that there's some changes you need to do. You need to pull it back. You need to realchemize that energy, right? What is it about in this moment is causing you to feel this way, and causing you to react this way, rather, in this emotion? Is this an emotion that is a valid emotion? Is this something that is like, okay, um, this is just part of who I am, or is this something that's being expressed out of balance? I guess that's the main thing. Making sure, paying attention to when you are communicating, because with men are not criers like women are, right? And so, or let me reword. Yeah, men are not criers like women are. So when they go to express, it may not come off like that. Um, and then, so I do wanna at least interject this piece too. So when I speak on masculine and feminine energy, I'm not talking about man or woman. I'm talking about that those energies that are expressed and that we um, have internally, that we're expressing all the time, right? So, for example, women, if you're working, let's say you're working in corporate, working at an office or something, doesn't matter how dainty the work is. The work itself is what's masculine, the physical work. Any spiritual work that you're doing, that's expressing from your feminine energy. Then, not to mention your star system makeup, those energies are feminine and masculine. So you can have a woman, right, have a lot of masculine energy in her chart. When I see stuff like that, that doesn't say, oh, that's cool. It's okay for me to stay the way my imprint showed as I came in. I'm gonna let y'all ponder over that for a little minute. For people who don't want to change, keep in mind that you basically operating from the birth, from your energetic imprint from birth, and any changes you've done in between. So to evolve that would be to expand on it, expand and evolve that energy. But it takes spiritual and physical work to do it. You're gonna have to re-alchemize your energy. That's what all this shit is. All this shit ain't about alchemy. Period. All of it. So anytime you're dabbling with the energies or chemical anything, it's all alchemy. You know? And so one thing I do want to uh keep in mind, I don't know if this is more of like a continuing from last month, but ladies, we have some work to do when it comes to balancing out that masculine energy, right? Not expressing so much of it, and knowing when to express those energies, knowing how to embody those energies properly in our systems so that we're not overloaded with masculinity. And for us, it's going to come off as like bitchy, aggressive women, stuff like that. When really, any female that's not expressing any of her softness, her femininity is out of balance. Um, and this is speaking from someone who literally, at points in my life, was operating out of balance. But I will say to this, with my star system literally is pretty balanced, feminine, masculine. It's pretty balanced with the elements. Like, I'm pretty balanced. And so it's a little easier for me to kind of, okay, when I see it, to pull it back or pull it up a little bit, depending on what it is. But we have gotten used to operating so much. It's kind of like we've been operating 80% masculine, or like 90% masculine, 10% feminine. And so everything is out of balance. Everything's out of whack because of how we've been operating from that space. Excuse me. Hence, while you constantly feel this need to rest, You're constantly being pulled to do things like it's so weird. And y'all tell me if y'all having these same thing, if y'all going through this too. But I've been going through these spurts where I'll get a run and then I'll be guided to rest. Then I'll get a run, then I'm guided to rest like that. Excuse me. And sometimes it doesn't affect what I'm doing daily, and then sometimes it does, my everyday so-called routine. And so that's why I'm being guided to not get so rigid in my routines. So again, now we're alchemizing because routine is masculine energy. Not being so rigid in it, that's chaos, that's feminine. And so in the beginning, it sounds overwhelming. It may even feel overwhelming. I got to do this. I promise you, you stay tuned in with your team, with your higher self, with your guys, with your God. You will be guided the best way for your story, okay, for your energetic coding. So, oh, that's a big old pretty dog. Looks a little overweight though. I really can't stand to see overweight pets. That is not a good thing. Anywho, and so yeah, so we have work to do. Women, we I'm trying to figure out even where to start with this because I don't want to make it seem like okay, we'll go this way. We'll save that for another time. We'll save that for another time. Um, Fellas, now is the time that masculine energy is being called to learn to trust. Over the times, that energy, that trust has been diminished for many, many different reasons. And to be honest, real shit, unless any of y'all gonna go back to those times and tally ho. I mean, if you're physically the fuck gonna go back there, it doesn't require you to take a lot of energy to, tune into this and trace it so far back. You don't even have to do that. You can really just trace it so far back, a little bit past yourself, and then line it up with what's going on now. But the masculine energy is being guided to trust, right? To trust the feminine energy more. And that trust starts internal, okay? So that means that you're going to have to learn how to trust yourself first. If you have any trust issues with anything, any experience, any person outside of yourself, I'm telling you now that starts with you. Them people ain't the reason why you got trust issues. You're the reason why you have trust issues. And so this also speaks to why a lot of men don't get in committed relationships. We're going to talk about it. We can reserve this for a whole deeper conversation. I actually have it as a topic to really go into detail with men and women and why the fuck we're fighting and arguing so goddamn much. What's the point? If you're with somebody who y'all can't, harmonize, y'all need to go to the realms and seek guidance on what's the next step. Because if y'all supposed to be here doing this work, shut the fuck up, do the work. Right? Creating the resistance and the stress in that situation is doing nothing but stagnating both of y'all. It's keeping both of y'all from going to the next point. So wherever you have masculine energy in your star system, tally ho with the trust in that space. What does that look like? Why don't I trust myself? Even if you say, I can't trust that bitch. Well, I don't trust that bitch. And the last time I told her something, I told her not to say nothing, and she ran back and told everybody. Right? So when I see it, like if I was to hear that, the first thing I would say is, why was you talking about anybody, period? Hmm? Start there. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself enough to know enough that when you have certain information in your presence, it doesn't need to be shared. The information stays with you, regardless if it's about somebody else. 'Cause talking about somebody else, that's gossip, that's stagnation. That's not healthy communication. You see? So you see how the energy just trickles and trickles and trickles? We have this saying, we call it the Russian doll effect in our house, because how everything unfolds, everything's spiraling out. Everything is spiraling, and it's doing it so right here in our faces. Anywho, so yeah, so to this, the masculine energy is being called to trust right now. This is because the seasons that's coming up in the years to come, you're gonna have to be secure in that space. This is all internal work. I don't know no other way to fucking say that. This is internal. You have to learn how to trust yourself first, because trusting yourself is going to allow you to trust when you hear certain things to do, when certain situations and certain experiences come into place. You'll fucking know what to do because you're trusting yourself. You trust yourself. So, you felt, heard, saw something to do, you didn't hesitate because you trusted yourself. Ever tried to make a tough decision and you pondered and pondered and analyzed and broke down and compared and whatever the fuck? Instead of, and the crazy part is, it'll break all the way down to how you were really the fuck feeling from the moment that you asked, right? Or from the moment that the beginning of that thing. You didn't trust yourself enough to go with that response. So what you did was, to confirm to yourself you were making the right fucking decision, you had to break all the shit down so you can see it. And that's totally fine. I actually encourage you to do that, especially starting out, because it'll allow you. I'm just talking about when we're so out of balance with that, we're spending so much time on that quick response would have been from you trusting yourself, trusting that what you were picking up was the right move or not. And so I do want to pull it back a little bit, because you do have to, or I recommend rather, when you're breaking this down, to do that. Break down where that energy is expressing, how, so that you can go ahead and cut the snake off. Or one of the other oracles that I listen to, what she calls it, to call a demon by its name and cut the head off. What I refer to as demons would be low vibrational, parasitical energy, sinister energy, any energy that's expressing from that space. And so, for example, let's say greed. Greed is a demon to me. That's a demon. Because greed it doesn't serve anybody. It comes from a lack of feeling secure. It's literally in a space of lack. I'm greedy because I don't feel like I have enough, or that I will ever have enough. That's lack. That's a demon. Call that bitch by his name, cut the head off. Keep it moving. That's where we at with the work. It's time to quit fucking around, because by doing that, it's like some of us are literally, we're sitting in loops right fucking now. You're sitting in a loop and looking at everybody else cray cray. We got to get it together. We got to get it together. We have got to start doing the work. We got to start alchemizing this energy. to best serve us. We got to start moving in the more in the space that speaks to why we're here, what we want to do while we're here. All that good shit. Aligning and magnetizing to the timelines where you're in abundance of, prosperity. You're in abundance of loving relationships. You're operating and expressing from a balanced space, right? So, yeah, I guess ultimately what I really want, what today's message is about, really just paying attention to the masculine energy expressing, you know what I'm saying? Doing what you can to alchemize that energy. What I normally do when I'm out of balance on in my masculine energy, I alchemize it with feminine energy. So what I'll do, let's say for example, and this is actually true for me. So my moon sign is in Aries, and Aries is a masculine energy. Okay. It's a fire sign. It's masculine energy. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So that two, the one, what did I say one was? One's masculine energy. So that's a lot of masculine expression in the emotions there, right? So when I'm out of balance, what I do is I call in to alchemize with it the Libra energy, which is the air energy. It's feminine energy. It's it's ruled by Venus. And so when it's expressing in a more toned expression. You still get the fighter, you still get the righteousness. It's just not so aggressive, right? And so that's one of the things. So again, I wouldn't be sharing any of these things, y'all, if I hadn't done them myself, or know people who have done them, or know through observation people who have done it to see it work, right? I'm not one of those people who will speak on something that I haven't tried myself, plan on trying myself, or have seen done before, right? And so that would be my one of my advisements, is to see what polarity energy matches with that specific masculine energy, so that you can alchemize it and balance it out. Not too feminine, not too masculine, just the right harmonic balance. And so that may be 60-40 right now, 20-80-20 later, 90-10. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by alchemizing and harmonizing the energy. So just making sure that you're tuning into that. Making sure that you guys are having fun. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. Like I said, I don't know where y'all are. I'm in the South. I'm down here in Memphis, and uh, okay. Let's go here for a little second, y'all. Now, so I call Memphis my dual home, my second home. The other town that I'm from Cairo, or grew up in Cairo, Illinois. Excuse me. And so I spent a lot of my childhood between Cairo and Memphis, right? And so I have dual residence. I like to say I like to call it dual residence. I have dual residence. And so all my years of being in Memphis, even when I became an adult, moving down here and living here, it's fucking June. It ain't never been this fucking nice outside, y'all. It literally, to me, is June, middle June. It feels good outside to me. It is not too hot. Whether you're in the sun or in the shade, granted it feel better in the shade, but back in the day, baby, it didn't matter. The fuck you was in the shade, you was burning the fuck up hot. Sweltering like you couldn't breathe. It was so fucking hot outside. So I'm saying it to say, my people, it has been beautiful outside. Get out and enjoy this beautiful weather. Get out and enjoy this beautiful energy. Stick your feet in the grass. I'm a huge advocate for grounding. I ground daily, and my intent is to ground daily. The days that I miss, I feel it. I'm telling you, I feel it. If I don't go ground, I feel it. Stick your feet in the ground and just be with one with yourself and nature in that very moment. And y'all, you ain't even got to do it that long. For my working people, especially if you just got like a quick patch in your front yard and your backyard, if you don't want your neighbors watching you or whatever. If you live in an apartment complex, especially if you got to take the dog out, you ain't got no excuse. As long as the take dog do his business, you could be grounded. So utilize the opportunities when you can. Do it on your lunch break. Do it when you get home from work. Whenever. Put your feet in the ground. I'm telling you guys, it is going to help. Especially for my earth signs and my water signs. Especially for my earth signs and my water signs. Put your feet in the ground. Okay? During this time, because we're integrating a lot of information, make sure you're keeping your area cleansed, so that you're not getting any tainted information. You're getting your messages clear. Make sure you keep your space clean. So sage when you need to, payload when you need to. Um, Making sure you're taking your spiritual baths. A simple Epsom salt bath will be sufficient. If you don't have no Epsom salt, put some sea salt in your bath. I ain't got but a little sea salt. Dollar Tree sells sea salt for $1.25 plus tax $1.37. They got the pink salt too. Okay, get you some sea salt, some Epsom salt. One I'm gonna start incorporating. I've been pulled to do it. I'm just waiting to get my resources together so I can. And it's adding magnesium flakes to my water. So I've been wanting to try that I've been wanting to try that. I heard that from somebody else. They said it did wonders for their aura, and so I wanted to practice that. But for those who want to go ahead and try it before me, go right ahead. We all scientists in this together. We all here to help each other. You know what I'm saying? All the different cells working together to help the main body. Um, but yeah, make sure you're getting your spiritual baths in. Meditation. Make sure, especially during this Gemini, any air season, every day really, but especially during this time, you can really feel the channels coming through, really feel the information pouring through. So make sure you're meditating, you're grounded when you're meditated, making sure you have peace and quiet. Um, Journal if you need to. Um, yeah, that's kind of where we at. So just be patient. Be patient, you guys. Um, a lot of energy is being cleared out. A lot of things are being done away with. A lot of systems are being torn down. And so, the example I like to give my people is when you're demoing a building, you're not building in the same exact spot as you're demoing the building at the same time, right? So, yes, bunch of fucked up systems. We got it. Boom. Word has been heard. Now the shit's falling. We gotta stand back from the debris. Stand back from the debris. And masculine energy wants us to it wants us to go out there and pick the bricks as they falling and keep building them up. Fuck that. Climb into that feminine energy. Relax. Relax, relate, release. In my Willie voice. You know what I'm saying? Just be patient. Just chill. Wait for all the bricks to fall. Then we gotta have a cleanup crew. Cleanup crew gotta come clean the space so that we can start building a new foundation. Foundations are being rebuilt right now. I don't know how y'all build a foundation, but I'm the fuck ain't building my new foundation on old concrete. I want fresh cement. Even though that dirt been there, I want to tend to the dirt before we lay the cement down. Let me talk to the dirt. Let me become one with the dirt. Let's see what the dirt is going to produce for us here. How it produces. If this even the spot. I may just be demoing right here and then moving to build elsewhere. This is why you have to be patient. All your ideas that are coming through, all of these different ideas, and it's the best word I can come up with. All these ideas, write them down. Protect your ideas. Please, please protect your ideas. As much as we want to feel like we're operating in a world where everybody should be like, stealing should just not be a fucking thing, but since we gotta say it, it's just fucking ridiculous. Anywho, no need for it. But protect your ideas, protect your energy, protect your space. It's time to start getting these young ones together. I mean, young ones 13 up. It's time to start prepping them for some challenges. Prepping them for some changes. Changes. A lot of them are going to be experiencing the educational system collapse during their junior high school years. Some of these young ones will be done graduated, but so yeah. So just making sure y'all preparing your children, your young ones making sure you keeping them in the loop. Don't leave them out of what's going on. You never know what information they can provide to be of assistance. Real shit. Involve your young ones into your plans, into the house plans, so that they are aware of what's going on. But we're being pulled. I don't know about if y'all feel it, but I'm feeling this heavy pull to fall so deep into my feminine. It's ridiculous. And I'm going with it. I ain't gonna even bullshit you. Your girl been going with the flow. My daddy told me to trust the process. That's what I'm doing. Hey, daddy. Rest in love. The one last thing, and then I'm out of here. Um, just as one of those things is off balance. One of the things I know, like I said, I was being worked on as well, because we're all out of balance in our energy, so we're having to learn how to re-alchemize that stuff. One of the things that I had to learn, and I'll just kind of give y'all this update. This is why your girl been down for 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. This is going on the third week. But my husband, also Gen X, called himself getting out here playing basketball and then stretch. Now, for those of y'all who are athletic or have played sports before, I know you probably thinking, yeah, but that shouldn't hurt. No. When you get in these fours, y'all, the body don't move the same. It doesn't. And one of the key things is that was a lesson for him, number one, that he needed to be more active. Excuse me, when it comes to working out and stuff like that. But but it ended up being a two-part lesson. And so when he did this, he kept saying, he's like, man, I fucked myself up, man. What happened was he went to go for the ball. Now he's playing ball with one of our good brothers, you know what I'm saying? On a hill. They're on a street and it's a hill, like going a downslope. So he's trying to chase the ball going down. And as he's chasing the ball, his one of his legs locked up on him, and he just went flying face first, y'all. Don't laugh at my snoops. I for real, I take that personal. But we pass it now. But for real though. But so he slid. So he had first degree burns on his hand. First degree burn on his hand. Knee was messed up, but the leg is what kept him from being mobilized. When I say mobilized, I mean for the first week he couldn't lift it by himself. Okay. This is what I'm meaning by trust, because we were talking to our friend yesterday. We're all sitting up chatting, and my husband goes to explain it. That was one of the lessons that he got during this time of being down, learning how to trust me and trust the process. And one of my lessons was learning to trust him, right? And learning how to be more nurturing. When I tell y'all, my nurturing skills, they kick in when they need to. I will say that. But let's say, for example, I'll give one of my sisters, for example, a sister that's right under me. To me, she is probably one of the most nurturing of my sisters. That's just my perspective. But she's very nurturing. Does that mean that she doesn't have out of balance masculine energy? Absolutely not. We everybody, look, Gen X, Xennials, and Millennials. Yes, we do. Okay? The women we came under weren't that fucking feminine. They were feminine, but they were very hard on, very strict, very stern, masculine, very it was just they was mean shit. Okay? Yeah, all the way up until I was a teenager. I went with the narrative that my mom was mean. I bullshit you not. I call her the queen of no, cause it was no to everything. You know what I'm saying? And but over years, I literally real shit. I joke about that a lot, but it is in good fun, because for real, those no's uh, molded me to the person I am today. Like, is one thing my mom can say about any of her daughters. We've never had to we wasn't giving her all these dramas. We have shit go on in our life. We have dramatic shit go on, right? But it wasn't like constant drama. Constant some shit. Bail you out of jail, or, issues with your maid. And it just, occasionally we had stuff. But she just, it wasn't like all the time. So now I had to understand her raising, or her guidance in raising, was that for a specific reason, and this is why. So I'm very grateful, and I've told my parents multiple times, all the way up until my father transitioned. Um, and one of the last things I said to him in his ear, I thanked him for being the father that he needed to be for me. I thanked him for showing up when he was supposed to. See, I had a perception that my dad was supposed to be doing things this way, like this, or else. He's not a good dad. Same with my mom, right? We all do this. If they don't show up the way we want them or expect them to show up, then they're the bad parents. No, they're the fuck not. You're not accepting their role as your parent in your story the way it needs to be expressed. Some people have very passive mothers. Some people have very aggressive mothers. So you see, if we was all meant to, it'd be all the same right across the board. It's not. So your parents, the parents that you come here for and with, is by design. And if you break down your energy, you'll be able to see that. You break down your name, your date of birth, you know, um, where you were born. For me, anything dealing with numbers and letters. I break down, and as I break these energy codes down, it has allowed me to understand my own expression. It has allowed me to really be able to operate in my true authentic expression, if that makes sense, without. What's up, Mary? Hold on, y'all. Pause. My apologies. My niece just walked past. Had to speak to her. She just got off work, working her McDonald's job. Well, one of my nieces anyway. So, but anywho, excuse me. So, and I done forgot where I'm at, y'all. So I'm just really for real, for real. I think I was talking about our parents and accepting the role that they come into your life, because this is your first feminine and masculine energy that you're going to be running across. And so, because these are the first energies that you encounter, you want to, cause some of that may come with a little trauma. Here go my Snoops. Hey, bet. Y'all, he is healing up so good. I'm so proud of him. Okay. Anywho, I don't know if he gonna catch this episode or not, but anywho, I was gonna keep it moving because I'm finna go out here and walk with my Snoops for a little minute. But so yeah, y'all, we gotta make sure that we're doing our best. That's it. We do what we can. Seek help if you do not know how or where to start. I implore you to use Google, YouTube, something where you could just Google what the fuck you thinking. You know what I'm saying? Or type in what you're thinking. Just start there. Um, I am right now. I am currently I'm in the process right now of putting together some astrology sessions for you guys so that you can be more empowered. So, this is so that when I'm speaking on certain things energetically, you will even understand your own energy as it's expressing energetically. You know what I'm saying? And not going so much by a sign, but the energy itself. And so I'm gonna start offering some of those sessions. They're up now, for anybody who want to take advantage now. I am still in a process of putting every single thing together. So if you take advantage now, you won't get everything up front. I'll eventually get it all out to you, but excuse me, because we're still in that phase, y'all, of we're tending to our seeds, right? And so, yeah, so make sure to check me out there. If you have any questions, let's say you already have your chart pulled, you already understand astrology, maybe you need to fine tune some things, hit me up. Um, I'm also, I don't have it on my site, but I will be doing some mini readings, and the readings will be just like for just whatever current energy is going on then. So whatever I'm picking up for you then, that's what I'm giving out. And I'll let you guys know when those services will be available. Um, excuse me. I do have my 30-day gratitude, inspirational gratitude journal. Check it out. It's a digital journal. Uh, for real, hopefully you guys find value in it, because I put a lot of work into it, number one. Number two, this is to help rearrange the words that we use when we're trying to manifest. And so part of that is we have to be grateful. How do we speak gratitude in our life? That's what this journal is doing. That's what this journal does. It opens you up to being grateful. It teaches you and shows you different words to use to express gratitude in the highest form, right? So that you're magnetizing your heart's desires, the things that you want in your life. So, but check out that journal. Uh, you can check out my products and services at naturalholisticvibes.com. Go check me out. If you just want to chat, leave a review, a star, a comment, you know what I'm saying? Make sure to do so. You can do so here on Spotify or wherever you're listening at. You know what I'm saying? Or hit me up on my social medias. We can start conversating there too. Let's get this work done. You can catch me at on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Natural Holistic Vibes. And for my podcast, Instagram and Facebook only. And this is just more so for episode drops, content stuff like that. Changes to the show, if any, what the show is going to be presenting. You can catch me at NHV Podcast. So it's been love. It's been real, you guys. I appreciate y'all for hanging there with me. I appreciate your patience with me for the past couple weeks. Girl ain't got an episode out to y'all, so I appreciate y'all hanging in there. Excuse me, doing your work. That's what I appreciate, you doing your work, okay, and showing up for yourself. That's some real beautiful shit, for real beautiful. So I love you guys. Continue to do your work. Like I said, know that you're not in it alone. You have support. You have support. You have support. And if you need any questions answered, anything, hit me up. You can also hit me up on my email, naturalisticvibes at gmail. All my contact information is in the description, so just make sure to check me out there. Um, I'll catch y'all next time. I ain't gonna say next week because I'm finna tell you now, the podcast is going through some morphing and some changing. And so I don't know really what that looks like all the way right now, but when I do, I'll let you guys know. You'll be the first to know. Okay? So, yeah, y'all be good out there. Be safe. Peace.